okay? Yeah, great, okay. So welcome everybody. I'm delighted to see you all today. I am Gillian Gillespie and I am the Recruitment and Admissions Manager for the Veterinary Programme at the University of Glasgow. So it's great that everybody has come, and we're all obviously told about the PPAS programme, which is an agreement that we have with a number of the animal science universities. And we have a considerable number of American students who will come over to Glasgow and participate in the programme and also apply through them. So we've got quite a number of international students there. So this is what the PPAS programme means. So Facilitated Early Entry Programme for Animal Science students. And what does it do? So of course it gives you peace of mind. So what basically happens is you make an application through your for your faculty and study abroad, and then we assess that application and we can come back and possibly give you a place on the programme prior to you entering your final year of studies. And that means that you know that you've got the vet place. It means that it's a lot less stress. It's not as expensive as applying through VIMCAS. And you save 1 year tuition. So the structure of the programme is actually 3 years of your animal science, 1 year study abroad, which takes you into the first year of the veterinary programme in Glasgow. And then you complete the final 4 years of veterinary at Glasgow. You don't have to reapply. Once you've completed your first year at Glasgow, we automatically assume you will go straight through. Again, here's a listing of all the universities that we have at the moment. We've got some more coming on board. We've got Georgia, we've got Tennessee, who are actually just about to sign an agreement as well. So it's really popular. We have really successful students, and it's a really good way for you to ensure that you are not having to go through the uncertainties, the expense, and different things that you have to go through the VIMCAS process. Okay, so obviously this is your structure to your first degree. What we do is in some cases, we accepted sophomore, but here we would be expecting an application if you're interested in your junior year. And again, so you can apply. So what would happen with yours would be you'd apply and possibly accept it through the junior year. And that means that you do your senior years, your first year at Glasgow. So again, what it would do is, as I've said, you would automatically go through and do your final years 2 to 5. There'll be no reapplication. There's set on the pathway and you do the full 5 years. We have certain prerequisites that are set. So what you have to do is speak to your faculty here. Everything in a study abroad agreement, you have to relate what you're doing in your BSc to what you're doing in your study abroad. So you have to go to faculty if there's any prerequisites that they need for you to do in order for you to complete that final year at Glasgow, then you have to do that in advance of your studies before you're released into the first year at Glasgow. So do next. So this is the Garscoob estate. So we are situated about 4 miles outside of Glasgow. It's a short bus ride. Our students are taught full 5 years of the programme on that site. We were gifted the site. So a lot of the other degree programmes, or the veterinary degree, you have to travel. You have to do you might do a couple of years in one location and then you're travelling. But Glasgow, we're very lucky. We're just on the cusp of the city. This one here is one of the views that you can see out the office windows. And we have quite a nice suburb round about. So you have access to the city. You have access to the main university, which is fantastic as well. Lots of new developments at the university, really good student facilities. And again, your 5 years, you would be on the campus in Glasgow. And that's the campus there. On that campus, we have our small animal hospital. It's state of the art. We have worldwide staff coming through. We have first opinion and referral. We've got the first opinion is quite new. Our students will run the first opinion. They'll be overseen by veterinarians, obviously, but again, it is a really fantastic facility. As I've said, it's one of the best. Has worldwide staff, but also it's fantastic for neurology. It's got seizure clinic, and again a new diabetes clinic. There's lots of obese pets out there, and it's quite important for this one. Next one. Again, this is the number of cases that are coming through. What our students do is you do certain learning, and once you finish that part, you would go on to actually being part of the journey in the small animal hospital. Our students, as I've said, are part of the pet practice, so they will be supervised, but they will have first opinion options. And again, you get exposure very early on in the programme from Glasgow. So we also deal with the some shelter medicine as well, and so we see lots of cases through shelter medicine. So yeah, good. Again, our Wiper Centre. So the Wiper Centre is our equine centre, and we have first opinion for that, which is an ambulatory service. So our vets will pack up the vans and they will go out. This one here shows them packing up the vans. They will go out and they will take the students with them, and they will do first opinion there. We've also got the referral in there as well. So they do surgeries. We've got the standing MRI and fantastic equine staff who actually, and the students will be involved in that in rotation, but also you'll get hands-on and you'll be teaching within all these hospitals as you move through the programme at Glasgow. Again, our production animal, which is it's called large animal unit, but it's quite a small unit. And what happens here is we have farmers might phone the university, say, I've got a really unusual case. We take the animal in and we watch the disease pattern here. So some of the animals can be with us for a long time. The students will care for the animals, they'll observe, and there'll be teaching sessions on that. And again, the animal, once it's deceased, will go through to the pathology area where the students can actually have a view and look at the disease pattern there in pathology. So lots and lots of large animal as well. Another thing is, it's great, we have large animal, really fantastic large animal clinicians who will take the students around. We visit the local farming area, so we'll visit the farms, we do reproduction for them, we do all sorts of different things, probably quite a lot of things that you're involved with in the animal science, but a fantastic team, and we're very, very keen for large animal vets in the UK as we are worldwide. So it's a really important part there as well. Part of it, so we were the School of Veterinary Medicine. We were that for a number of years, but we're actually now the School of Biodiversity, One Health and Veterinary Medicine. So we have quite a lot of research facilities on our campus. Now, we're very aware that people who come onto the programme want to become a veterinarian. Not everybody wants to get involved in research, but it is there. There's teaching staff that will overlap on the veterinary programme that will be doing quite considerable research as well. So there's opportunities there for you. If you're interested, you speak with staff, you get involved. There's summer projects and different things that the students can do. But again, we know that not everybody wants to do research, but it is there. Again, Glasgow itself has always been high up in the rankings for research, so the staff will cross over. We understand that in the new world, One Health, it's a really important thing. We know that the veterinarians are very well thought of and really high up in some of the research as well. COVID has taught us all well. I think the general public are much more aware of that transition and crossover between these things. So it's very much a part of what we are at Glasgow on our campus and the teaching staff. But as I say, you are doing a prescribed course at Glasgow, so it's not a major part of it. Yeah. So this one here is the space that we offer for students on campus at Glasgow. So this is the main area where students will eat, they'll socialise, they'll work. We have small tutorial spaces in there as well. We've got a seminar room. And yeah, it's just a really good general area. Our students use it for functions as well. So lots of different things going on. It can be so quiet. It's quiet this week, but my goodness, will it get noisy when winter term starts? So yeah, it's a great space for our students to hang out. We are, as I think, 135 students in the year group. We only teach the veterinary medicine and the veterinary bioscience on the Glasgow campus. So we have in total 750 students. So it really is quite a nice environment. It's big enough to get lost if you want to sit at the back, but actually everybody knows each other, and our students on the veterinary programme will know the students above them, they'll know the students below them as well. So it really is a nice social space. And again, as I say, there's some of the teaching. Just beyond that, we have our clinical area as well. So whilst we've got a nice super duper small animal hospital, we actually did have an old hospital that we used, and that facility is now used for our clinical skills. So from day one, the students on the veterinary programme will be going and doing some suturing and different things, and they'll use that hospital. It's quite old looking, but it's a fantastic facility to use for communications and all the different skills that you have to build to become a veterinarian. So that's also part of the building there that you move through. Again, we have our own farm, which is Cocknow Farm, and Cocknow Farm is situated about 3 or 4 miles just from the vet school. It is a really fantastic facility to have. It's quite small, It's only 850 acres, but we do have quite a number of things going on. We take the students out to Cocknell Farm. If it's part of your curriculum, then we will bus you out there, and we take them from the main gate, and they go and do the hands-on practical learning from there. So we have a dairy unit, we've got beef suckling unit, we've ewes, and we've got lots and lots of students who come out there as well. It is contained, it is, it's small, but it's a fantastic teaching facility. And again, our large animal will actually be involved in teaching out there as well. So why would you come to Glasgow? Well, what we have is we have worldwide accreditation. So Glasgow is part of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. So that's our accreditation through the UK, Europe. We also have EAD in Europe, and we also have Australasia, which is covered by that. We do have the North American. Moves on. So we're one of 6 schools in the UK who actually has accreditation for the AVMA. And again, we give additional support for our students. We have, as I've said, a large number of American students who've come through our school. And again, we build into our curriculum, and we have particular NAVLE champions who will help you with the North American exams, licensing exams. We say, what's the difference come to Glasgow as to doing a US school? Well, if you come to Glasgow, you will be able to practice worldwide. US school, everybody's going through an NAVLE process. If you look at, disease, and it's a different experience coming to Glasgow. It will be different from a North American or from an American school. However, it opens your world to the rest of the world, and opens your eyes to all the different things. So within that, we will have extra practice and extra training for you in order for you to actually come home and to be able to practice in the US as well. So with the programme, so we say the spiral curriculum, which means that you are visiting topics. It's structured so that it's integrated learning. So you will be coming back to things as you go through the curriculum. You will be addressing issues, and then as you progress with your learning, then you're delving deeper into that and coming back to those. And historically, we've said you would come back to each topic about 3 times within your learning. So you're covering the concept of health and disease, and in very much a clinical context. So we look at one of the things to say about Glasgow is our students are very good in a clinical setting. So when they do their EMS, they're on placements, they're always very good at hands-on. It's one of the things that we are really proud of. We do a lot of clinical, and we try and teach you in a way that makes you look at the case. It makes you think like a veterinarian. And again, you have to build on your learning. Not every day one's going to become, going to be able to do what a vet does. But again, there is that understanding that we teach you in a way that you're looking at so many different areas and not just focused on one at one time. The structure of the programme is a foundation phase, which is years 1 and 2. There are body systems and blocks common, and these are built around cases. So there will be learning. The structure is we do mornings. First years may do their mornings, so it'll be 3 hours lectures in the morning. Afternoons you'll be doing the clinical, and that is in line with those. It's not always going to be clinical hands-on practice. There might be some small group teaching, there might be some tasks, there can be some posters, there can be some research that needs to be done. And when I say research, they'll give you the case, they'll ask you to think about it, ask you to do a wee bit of independent learning and go off and come back and present to your peers what your findings are. And that helps build on your knowledge, and allows you to, as I say, think outside of just 6 credits for this particular course. I need to pass it. We're looking to build you and make sure that you're learning so that when it comes out and you are in a clinical setting, that you are able to deal with everything that's coming at you. Again, these are the foundation blocks. So what we do is we have a Get You Started module, which is the first 4. These blocks are about 4 to 6 weeks, and it just runs through all the different body systems. But as I've said, it is case-based learning on these. We have lots of people will ask us about niche species. They'll ask about exotics people are interested in. But as I've said to people, the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, who is our accrediting body, says that everybody will be omnicompetent at the end of their degree. So that means that you must be able to apply the knowledge through all species. So most of what we're doing is through the core species of what you would experience as a vet. So we're looking at the large animal, we're looking at the equine, and we're looking at small animals through the small animal clinics. A lot of people will be working at the end of the degree. But yeah, if you want to. Again, so foundation phase is 2 years. Clinical phase is also 2 years, so it's years 3 and 4. And again, we will further develop the clinical reasoning and different things. So you also get communication skills and different things that you'll be expected to do. And again, that will be integrated into all the different modules that you'll be learning and different cases that you will actually start to review. And as I say, you come back, review things, be given tasks to do, and come back and report back to your peers on that as well. So the professional placement programme is year 5. So there's no lectures in year 5. It's all structured rotations and based around core rotations that are set by the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. So you must do 6 core rotations. And in addition to that, there'll be 2 4 to 6 week selectives, and those selectives are you can select from a list of all the different things, and you will do 4 to 6 weeks on that. We start building your foundation, we start building the professional phase in year 3. So nobody has the same timetable, everybody's is different. And again, what we try to do is, if you have a particular interest, then you would use your selectives to actually direct that. In addition to that, there's extramural studies, which again, you can use to direct your learning. So if you have a particular thing you're interested in, or something you haven't touched on that somebody else has spoken about, or you've seen on our lists, and you think, actually, that's something I might be interested in, or something I'm never going to do again because I don't want to do that when I finally graduate. That's our student thought process and how they actually choose what they're going to do. The selectives, we've got masses of selectives and they do change. We've got wildlife in Africa, we've got equine in Morocco, we've got Spain neuter clinics people go to, we've got dairy in Davis, we have all sorts of different things that you can choose, and the list is always growing. I've just seen this morning we'll have Singapore Zoo as well. A number of students who are looking for exotics will be looking at zoo. These are very niche jobs. There's not everybody can work for the zoos, but again, people do find the work and do. It's amazing. I'm totally inspired by all the different things our graduates do as well. So yeah. So we also offer intercalated degrees. So you will have, if you're coming onto the DPAS programme after first year, we would report back to Colorado State and say the passed and you get your first degree. So you would not be interested in a Bachelor of Science because you've already got it. But you might be interested in a Master's. We've had some go on to do Master's programmes. And basically an intercalation means that you would step out with a veterinary programme for 1 year. It's usually after 3rd year. You'd step out and do 1 year extra studies. And you could do a Master's of Research, or if there's something in particular you're interested in. These here are just examples of things that our students have done, but you're actually within the College of Life Sciences, Medicine and Veterinary Medicine. So anything that goes on, you are entitled to do. You can pick up any of the subjects and do that as a research Masters if you wanted to. Again, what it does, it adds an extra year to your studies. Not everybody will do it, small numbers may choose to do it. It's an additional expense. You are having that extra year, you get an extra cost of living. And one of the things you've got to remember is every year that you are not graduating means that it's an extra year that you won't be earning as well. So if you look at it in context to that, then a lot of people will choose not to actually do that. But the option is there for you. And as I said, we're a fantastic research centre. Again, one of the things I did mention was extramural studies. So everybody who takes a veterinary degree in the UK is required to do extramural studies. Extramural studies is something that the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons insist upon, and it is about clinical and preclinical exposure to animals. So it's topping up your learning, and you do those extramural studies. You will do 30 weeks in total. You will do 10 weeks in the years 1 and 2, and 20 weeks in years 3 to 5. Now, the 10 weeks in years 1 and 2, as a FEPAS student, if you have animal handling experience, bring that with you. And what we'll do is we'll go to your our EMS office and say, I'm on the animal science, I'm coming through FEPAS, will you give me a reduction in your weeks? And we have had in the past up to 6 weeks. There's no guarantees, it depends what you're doing. But I think 5 weeks was probably a practical thing that we would be able to give to the animal science students coming through. So that would mean you don't have 5 weeks to get in the first 2 years. In those years, you do them during your holidays. And I know that sounds quite, oh, I've got extra work to do in my holidays, but what people do is they come back home, they work a couple of weeks in a clinic, or they work somewhere for someone that they know, and they can get them added. We can get them added to our EMS database. We have an EMS coordinator and administrator who deals with it. And what they do is, if you wanted to do something in the UK, you can check the UK database. We'll have a UK database and an international database. And basically what happens is, if you're somebody who comes and says, actually, I live in Colorado State, there's a vet there that I'd really like to do some work with, we contact them, say, will you we provide the LOAs, we ask them, have they got relevant insurance, can they fill out the insurance paperwork, and then we add them to our system. And then everybody's rated, so you can go through the system. If you want to do lambing in Wales, you can check our system to see who's done it, you can check to see who's there, or just if people are interested in wildlife, we have, internationally, about 37 people have been on different things worldwide. So there's lots and lots of information here. So don't take it as oh, I've got extra clinical. Take it as wow, I can do something here and I can expand my knowledge. It's a fantastic opportunity to do that. Again, anybody who's on the programme, we expect to graduate. So what would happen with FEPAS is you do your first year and then you would progress. There's no additional application. You just progress on to the final 4 years of the programme. And again, this is our Hogwarts-like building. It is just like that. You didn't get to see it. But it's fantastic. It's really lovely. It's on our main campus. You only go onto the main campus for teaching, or when you're doing the exams, actually, for the veterinary programme. All our veterinary teaching is done on the Glasgow campus. However, you're a short bus ride away, and our students use it, and they use the main facilities. Now, this one is nothing like the new one that's across the road from it. There's fantastic student facilities there, cafes and different quite relaxed study areas, which a lot of our veterinary students will use. We've got a library facility on campus at the Glasgow veterinary campus, but we've also got a huge library on main campus with hundreds and hundreds of decks and different journals and different things that are relevant to your studies. So there's lots and lots of facilities there that you can use. So again, we have full employment. As I was saying earlier, we need vets worldwide. We need vets. We are in the North American intern matching system, and we have lots and lots of different opportunities that the vets will do. So a lot of them will go into small animal practice when they finish. We've got exotics and zoo. We get within the programme, we have one exotic vet come teach. And again, they go on rotation and do exotics on rotation as well. With regards to all the different things, there's so many more things that veterinarians are actually involved in nowadays. And as I said about COVID and everything else, I think publicly, as a profession, it's much more accepted and people are much, much more aware of the position of the vet and what the different things they do. But it doesn't have to be in practice. You can be doing public health, you could go into research. The government agencies for food and different things are really, really important. And again, we are desperate for teachers. So we know that you can earn lots and lots of money as a veterinarian out in clinic, but we would like good people to teach on the programmes as well. And again, within Glasgow, I think one of the good things is we have these fantastic veterinarians who will be part of the teaching process. So it's great for our students. And what we have is a mentoring system as well. So if you're in the hospitals, it's great. In fact, you'll know that person. They've taught you in some other area. And when you actually come to do your final year rotation, it's easier to say, actually, I'm not sure of that. Can you show me? When you have that level of communication and connection with the veterinarians, and I think we have that in Glasgow. We're lucky enough to have it. But again, it's a wonderful, wonderful degree. And again, all from home. So students are well supported by our Student Experience Office. We get mentors, as I mentioned, and we have our own counsellor, wellbeing officer, and also student support officer there as well. Part of that student experience is your EMS coordinator too. So they're all working together. And again, our students are absolutely wonderful and they support each other. We have lots of American students, and we have the Big Vet, Wee Vet buddy system. We the students will contact, existing students will contact our incoming students and ask them a little bit about themselves, where they're from, and try and match them up with other people. And again, it gives you a contact where you can be, some of our vets or some of our students will be very friendly with their big buddy, wee buddy, and then others will just say, oh, I managed to ask something of them and they gave me an email. So it's up to you whether you want to keep a relationship and a friendship going with these or not. But again, it's a wonderful resource. They're fantastic. And our student body itself is a really good community. So I think it's an absolute plus for Glasgow. We are high on satisfaction scores for all the UK veterinary schools. And yeah, it's a really good supportive environment. So again, this is just our world rankings. They change every single year, they change, but we do come up quite high for our veterinarian. We do come up quite well for our research as well, as I've said. So what we find is there's lots and lots of vet schools and lots more vet schools in the UK. Again, it's the same with America. Every time we come, there's another vet school being open. So there's lots and lots of places available to you. And we feel that nowadays it's slightly different. People are grasping. It used to be, oh my goodness, go on to veterinary medicine, but now it's very much you have a choice. You have a choice in what you're doing. So please use that choice, and make sure that if you are choosing to come onto the PPAS programme, you've actually thought about an international education and the difference in that. And it's more about your living environment and not being at home and the different things that you'll experience there. It does open up people's world, but again, there will be things you miss. There will be your family that you miss. I know that the world is a much smaller place since COVID and we can't contact everybody now, but again, make sure that you've thought about it, make sure that you are well prepared as well if you're thinking about coming onto the programme. So our students, yes, lots of things going on. There's lots of social things. I think Scotland itself is a really great place. I know that historically with the US, everybody says, oh, Scotland, but we are good at socialising. Our veterinary students have a vet ball, a halfway ball. We do talent shows, all sorts of different things. We get involved with the other vet schools in the UK. So as I said, there's quite a number of vet schools in the UK now, and we do sporting events. Nothing like they do in America, nothing like they do in America. But yes, we have rivalry and lots of different things they get up to, so it's great. Right, okay, so the university itself, I've mentioned already. So it's an historic university. It's part of the Russell Group, which the Russell Group is quite an elite group for research. But it is a really, really good place to be. Lots of undergraduate students, considerable number of international undergraduate students as well, and a very vast range of countries. So you are, not only are there high numbers of Americans, we also have, we've got quite a number and diverse group of other international students who come through the veterinary programme as well. So yeah, so talking about research, which is it's pretty good at Glasgow. Again, cost for Glasgow. So as of this year, if you're coming in, it's the tuition fee is set at £37,350. And what we do at Glasgow is set it for the full 5 years. So if you were to start next September 2026, then that would be set. You'd know how much you had to pay, and the only difference you would have would be your currency fluctuation. In addition to that, you've got your cost of living, but Glasgow came up in the rankings as one of the cheapest for students to live in the whole of Europe, and we're a lot less than London and Edinburgh as well. We try and pitch our tuition so that we obviously can't compete within state, but we try and make sure that we are very competitive when it comes to the tuition that you'd have to pay if you were out of state doing a veterinary programme in the US. Again, our climate in Scotland, it can be anything. It's very mild, the climate. We don't have much snow at all. Obviously, it's showing the skiing there, but that's up in the Highlands. In Glasgow, it's quite moderate. We have very long summer days, but quite short winter days. And again, it's quite rainy. I always say to everybody, it's absolutely beautiful. When you fly in, you look out the window and go, wow, this is lovely. There's a good reason, and it's because we're quite wet. Our climate is quite wet. So if you're coming, make sure you get your waterproofs, make sure you get wellies, and and make sure that you don't melt in the rain. That's all I can say. Okay, so Glasgow as a city. So Glasgow is safe and an exciting city. You can tell somebody else did these slides. Glasgow is a safe city. I always think, because I'm from Glasgow, and I always think Glasgow's a gritty city. You'll have been to Edinburgh, you'll have seen the castle. We don't have a castle in Glasgow. And I always think it's, and one of the students, actually, I went to something else, and one of the students said, do you know, you come to Glasgow to live, and you go to Edinburgh and London to be a tourist and view everything. So I think that was a really good way to explain it. It is a very friendly city. So the bus driver, if you're looking to go somewhere, will tell you, you might not understand what he's saying, but he will, if you say, could you put me off at a stop, he'll make sure that you get off. We are very chatty, we are very friendly indeed. And again, the city itself, it's saying here about its heritage. So we did have an industrial past, which I'm sure probably people already know, and it is a financial centre. But where you would live and your life, I think, would be in the West End of Glasgow, and it's very much a student environment. And our university is based at the West End in Glasgow. There's lots of eateries, there's huge amounts of things to do. There's really great museums. There's fantastic music scene, which I found out when one of the Americans came to visit a couple of months ago and told me that he could get his Iron Maiden, which I was like, Iron Maiden? Okay. And one of his, you'll know Iron Maiden, one of his music tickets he could get cheaper, fly over to the UK, get his music in Scotland, and then fly back. Again, he said, and I was going to visit all the vet schools with me. So, yeah, so we've got a fantastic music hub, lots and lots of different things going on. So again, this is just, that's fine. Again, this is just all the different things you can do. As I said, there's lots of sport, lots of history, and yeah, just embrace it when you're there. It's the home of Scottish soccer. Our sport is nothing like they do in America, I tell you. But yes, football is a very, and lots of women's football as well. There's lots of teams, lots of local teams that you can play. And again, there's huge amounts of sports and facilities at the university as well. And on the Glasgow campus, we're actually the site where the main university will play all their sports. So it's lovely green space as well. Okay, so yes, this is all the outdoorsy stuff, the walking, the hill walking, fishing, water sports and golf. Now, I would have said, I'm not sure if our students get up to that, but actually they do. And having spoken to them all, they're all out and about doing different things. So I live 20 minutes drive from the campus at the vet school, and I live in the national park. It's absolutely beautiful. And again, there's loads of things. You can hop on a bus. Public transport's pretty good in the UK. Our students don't necessarily drive. The way the learning is, you can walk from your accommodations, 10-minute walk, and sometimes the odd student might have loads of students coming if they're going somewhere exciting, but there's bus tours and different things. It's not difficult to get around, and it can be quite inexpensive as well. I think actually one of the last things there that was mentioned in Europe. So I'm very much aware that our students do travel a good bit as well. So whilst you're in the UK, we have 3 international airports which are really close to Glasgow. Glasgow International Airport is just through the tunnel. It's 20 minutes drive from the vet school, and our students will come or they will go off for a weekend. They'll get their Google flights and just go somewhere and just go off and see Europe. And these are places that, having spoken to the Americans, people say, my goodness, you're well travelled, but we're a tiny little island. If we're going anywhere, we're going overseas. We are going to Europe. So been to lots and lots of different places, and the students made sure they do so as well. So all these wonderful places that I hear about in America, and I go, wow. The Americans always come and say, wow, I can't believe I managed to get to Europe and do, France, Switzerland, Belgium, Austria, all sorts of different places. And again, some of the students will arrange their EMS around that as well. So there's lots of contact there. And say they did, a couple of weeks EMS and then spent the rest of the time going around the country and enjoying themselves. I know one of our students actually from the US said he spent his time going around Europe and saying, how much money did a vet earn? How much was it the cost of living? And did all his EMS, doing all that, and sat and worked out where he was going to be, where he was going to end up in his career. So there's a fantastic, it is a fantastic gateway to different things. So great. So, does anybody have any questions for me? First. Do you want to go first?
Do you review the applications?
They will be done by faculty here.
Okay.
So your application is quite straightforward, and it will go to study abroad, and faculty will be involved in the selection process. And what will happen is we would then, so it's on recommendation from your faculty. And then we would then do a quick interview. So we do an interview to say, what are your motivations? What do you know about Glasgow? Here we are, ask more questions. And it's probably about half an hour interview, and then we would come back. And any offer that we make to anybody on the programme would be a conditional offer based on you keeping your GPA and your final exit GPA from the spring semester being at 3.4 or better. Yeah, whoever's, yeah.
I do have a question about the international student body.
Uh-huh.
So is it a big difference between you being somebody who's coming from America versus somewhere, let's say?
Okay, yeah. So firstly, what I would say is, yes, it will be a complete change for any international student coming in. We have so many international students on the programme. I think I said 750 students in total on the campus, of which there must be about 260 who are American students. We've got a huge number. It's about an international experience, so it will be completely different. Your living will be completely different. Your experience will be different, whether that's different to a US vet school. So the one thing I would say, what we try to do in Glasgow is we don't want students stepping over each other to try and get their degree. We want it to be collaborative. You want everybody to be learning together. You've got one goal. So we try to say, do not be that competitive. You don't need to be as competitive as you have to be in a US school. So there is that, it's much more relaxed. I think what our US say to us is it's a much more relaxed living environment that they live in, but it is very, very different. And again, what we try to do is from years 3 to 5, we're very aware you're an American student, you'll want your NAVLE, you want your American license to practice in the US, and we focus on trying to give you that extra support. So we'll have curriculum mapping where we'll look at, so you will have learning and the disease paths that are here in the US that are not part of the UK. So we will try and top up your learning in different areas that you might not get. That will be relevant to NAVLE. So that's the differences there. Our main accrediting body is the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. We do have a considerable number of Americans, and we do have an obligation when we take people on the programme to make sure that they meet the requirements for coming home and actually get their NAVLE.
How many people do you usually take per school?
So we are looking at, it's usually around about 10. So it'd be 10 from Colorado State any 1 year that we'd be taking. And we have, as I say, we have quite a number of FEPAS partnerships. And what we find is that some years there'll be a large cohort going, and it's quite nice if you go with 2, 4, whatever, if you've got somebody else to come with or somebody else to go with, then that's a quite good support network. But there can be some years where our partners might not have any. There are some years might have 7, and so it changes round. But we do say around about 10 students would be the max going.
Is animal science the only program you can
So
apply
animal
through?
science is the one that we've established. We do have for Penn State we have pre-vet, and we would be happy to. It's more about, we know what's involved, we know your learning path, and it is more about giving the opportunities to the animal science as opposed to the pre-vet who are on a track to do that. But historically it has been, but Penn State have said, can we do it for our pre-vet as well? So we've got them as well. But we have quite a number. We've got a number of BPAS providers, a number of schools in the US, and it works. It works really, really well. If we get the good candidates, people who want to embrace that experience, then that's I always think it's fantastic for our home students to actually be part of that. You're on a journey, and as I've said, you that shouldn't be. You've all got one goal. You all want to become veterinarians, and you support each other through that learning process, as opposed to trying to be top of the class and trying to, I don't know, it's quite a different learning environment. But hopefully that enriches our home students as well, because you're coming from a completely different background. What you have got is home students for us who might be 18 years old, who've not done a first degree. So there's lots of ways that you can support them as well through your own journey you've already had through your first degree. We know that you will have probably established your study skills and different things, and that's a wonderful thing to actually be able to, and again, with regards to communication skills, Americans are always very good. You're always good with your communications, and again, in the learning environment, you can lead on different things, you know, you can give your qualities and your expertise in certain areas will help and enhance those learning environments. And that is really initially, because what you're doing is you're taking on a completely different program. It's new to everybody. Day one, it's new to everybody. So I think that even though we've got, I'm saying it's 18-year-olds there through a process, and there's an expectation they will be doing that veterinary program as of 18 years old, and they're very much focused on that, and they do well. They do well. So you couldn't say it's one particular group do better than another. Believe it or not, you're all coming onto a new program, a professional degree, and you know, it's a step up, and it's a different thing you're doing.
Can I just say super quick, it's open to animal and equine science.
Something I think.
So we're Department of Animal Science, so y'all are all in that.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. So, it's I think you had your hand up first, didn't you, a while ago?
With housing, is it, can students live off campus?
So what we have is, yes, we can, you know what, yeah. So what we have is one, so the University of Glasgow offers international students in year one, they are guaranteed on-campus accommodation. That on-campus accommodation is halls. You don't share, but your one bedroom facility, there might be 5 bedrooms to 1 kitchen area. So you can have that. It's a good option for you. If you want the security and know that you're coming in, you've got your place, you've got your accommodation set up. On the Glasgow campus, on the vet school campus, there's actually one set of accommodation there that actually is the only one for the university that actually offers it's fully catered. So whilst it is fully catered, it's pasta, it's different, it's quite basic food. And we find that our Americans who've already done the halls and done the journey are looking possibly for private accommodation. And again, as I've said, we have private landlord accommodation about 10 minutes walk from the vet school. And the university, so the vets themselves, vet students might have a 5th year who's leaving, who'll send round to say, actually, we're looking for somebody to share a flat. So there's lots of flat shares. Those particular flats are not big flats. So what you have is in that area, very close to the next school, might be 2 or 3 bedroom flats. And that can work out about, if you're, depending how many you share with, it can work out about £700-800 per calendar month for your accommodation. Again, with the halls of residence, that's on a par with the halls of well. So lots of the other students on the university will stay nearer the other side, and they will live in the old tenement flats in Glasgow, and they'll live in groups of 5. There might be 5 in those flats. They are quite cold. They've got high ceilings, leaky windows. They're quite so it's a little bit less expensive. It depends. Some of our students will establish a friend group in first year from the halls, and everybody from first year will go out and go into private accommodation and choose whatever they want to do.
If we wait for the program senior year, when do we come back and finish our program here?
So what happens with the program is, so you would exit on senior year, complete the 1 year of the veterinary program, and then what we do is we send your transcript back to the Colorado State and say you completed the first year of the veterinary program, and then that officially allows you to graduate, complete your BSc. So basically, you don't do it at the other end. If there's extra credits that you have to actually have prior to being released, then those are done prior to exiting and going to do your first year at Glasgow. As soon as you complete your first year at Glasgow, then that's you send back the information and you get your BSc. We have a really high success rate on the programme. People will pass and we send back. If you don't pass, then what basically happens is in the Glasgow programme, you actually have 2 sets of examinations. So you have a first diet of examinations, which will be May, June time. There are exams as you go through the programme as well that you must pass, but the major examinations will have 2 diets. So first diet is in May, June, and then if you fail exams there, you will have a second attempt in August, which to sit the exams. And if you don't pass first time, then we'll go back to your provider, back to Colorado State, and then say, sorry, they didn't pass, but you will be sitting and you'll be given extra support. There's learning sessions and extra support during the summertime, and then you would sit in August. If you were unable, if you did not pass, or if at any point you decided you didn't want to stay in the program for that first year, then we have asked that your provider would allow you to step back into the program here and complete your degree here.
Yeah, how compatible are like the required classes to get into Glasgow with like neighboring vet schools and states?
In the States. We have this agreement to allow you accessibility to that. So we know what you're studying here. We've got an agreement here. So if you're represented by faculty here, then you have a high percentage of getting into the program at Glasgow. Every vet program is in great demand. We are sitting at the moment, I don't have all the details until the VIMCAS, we're on VIMCAS as well. And at the moment, I've got about 800 applications in progress through VIMCAS. So we're on VIMCAS. We also have, not only do we have VIMCAS, we have the UK system, and we will get another. So I think we'll probably get another 600, 700 applications for the UK, and we would also have our DPAS partners as well. So we're looking at a huge number of applications to get onto the programme, and we've got, as I said, 135 places for all those different categories. But within the DPAS programme, because you are an agreed provider, or Colorado State are an agreed provider, you're going through faculty and you're being recommended, then there's a very high chance that if you make the GPA requirements to get through the interview and have been assessed by faculty, that you will go into the programme. It is an agreement. It is a way in which for you to have an advantage over anybody who's coming through VIMCAS. We do our VIMCAS applications in the start interview in November to January on those, but we'd be looking to get information back from our DPAS partners to say, okay, we've got people who want to come onto the programme, and they are given first refusal on our numbers with regards to entry.
Okay, thank you.
One of the things I didn't touch on was the amount of experience as well. So the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons has said we don't want to make it unfair to everybody. Want it to be accessible to everybody. We don't want somebody to say, I'd love to be a veterinarian, I'd really want to do this, however, I'm able to get the hours that I need in practice or different things in order to be competitive. And we know that we get our VIMCAS applications, people have thousands of hours and all sorts of different things. And we also know that if you come, some people will have the advantage of coming from, the parents might be vets, they have friends who are vets and actually have access to all that. Whereas somebody else who's just as good and just as keen doesn't have that access. So we don't want to miss this. Something of it. We know.
Sorry. Speaking on the application, like the interview stuff, is there something that you guys are actually specifically looking for or wanting to hear from those who are applying that are different than just the hours experience?
Yes, so what we do is if you're invited for an interview, we'll give you a wee list of things that we're looking at. So we're looking for, why do you want to come? Why do you want to be a vet? What do you know about hospital? Why do you want to go international? I mean, they're very basic things. And then if you have experience, we'll be looking to find out what's your experience, what did you observe? It's not about quantity of hours for experience, it's about quality. And we want people to be inquisitive, they go into it. We want you to be asking questions and be observant. So it's about an interview, and the questions you'd ask in relation to that is, can we teach this person? Is this the right person to be on the programme? As opposed to, have they got 1,000 hours? Have they got everything? I've ticked every box that we need to tick. But again, if we're inviting you for an interview, we'll give you a wee list of the things we're looking for. Want you to be aware of what's happening in the veterinary profession, and if there's any, if there's something that hits the headlines, anything that's on the news, anything like that. We might not ask you about it, but we'd like you to be aware. It's about you coming from a slightly different environment with the animal science or the equine, and we want to make sure that the veterinarian is the right pathway for you, and then really thought about it. Anything else? Sorry, I'm running over.
So you said that you'll fit into the curriculum, like classes to help us pass the North
Yeah,
American exams.
mhm.
You know how much those exams cost if we want to come back to the US to practice?
I am not sure how much they pay for the examinations. I can find out for you. What we do is we usually will give that extra level of support to get NAVLE champions. So a couple of our staff are American, And one of them is a Glasgow grad, one graduate of America, and maybe are the champions that who do that. I think it's expensive. I think it's very expensive to sit exams. Well, thank you so much for your time. If you've got any questions, you can direct them to either myself or you can direct them to faculty. And I think I'm going to be available later today if anybody's got any questions for me direct. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for your time. Thank you. Bye now. Thank you.
What about?